Have you ever sat there wondering how she walked away after everything you did? You gave her your time, you were always there, and still, she chose someone else, a man who didn't try half as hard. You think to yourself, what more could I have done? The answer was never about doing more. It was about doing what actually matters. Men everywhere are waking up to a brutal truth. Women don't care about what you do for them. They only care about how you make them feel. And unless you understand what really moves them emotionally, you'll keep losing, no matter how much you give. That's why this video exists, because this truth is rarely spoken. And the few who know it, they don't want it going mainstream. Comment, I'm done overgiving, if this video is already speaking to you. Number 1. She wants to feel your absence. She doesn't miss you because you're never gone. She doesn't think about you because you're always right there. You reply before she can even process the silence. You're checking in, following up, making sure she's okay, overextending, thinking it'll make her feel secure, but it doesn't. It makes you invisible. Men everywhere are stuck in this exact pattern. They believe the more present they are, the more they'll be appreciated. But what happens? She pulls away. She starts acting distant. She takes longer to reply, and you panic. You push harder, text more, get emotional, try to fix something that was never broken. You never gave her space to feel your presence through your absence. Absence doesn't mean abandonment. It means you're not constantly available. It means you have things going on. You're a man on a path, not a man on standby. When she doesn't hear from you for a day, she wonders what you're up to. She thinks about you. That curiosity plants seeds of emotional pull. Most men suffocate their chances before they ever let a woman feel that. You think availability equals loyalty, but in her emotional world, availability equals predictability, and predictability breeds emotional boredom. She needs to experience gaps to feel anything. Just like a song needs pauses between the notes, a woman needs space to feel your impact. The moment you're always present is the moment she stops feeling your presence. The man who texts every hour is noise. The man who disappears, focuses on his mission, and returns stronger. That's music. He leaves behind an emotional fingerprint she can't erase. So how do you flip this now? You build distance into your rhythm. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. You focus on your craft. You hit the gym without telling her every move. You don't post every update. You let her wonder. You don't do it to manipulate. You do it because your life is already full. She can either join or observe from afar. That's the man who owns emotional gravity. And if you're sitting there thinking, but what if she thinks I don't care? You've already lost frame. You don't explain distance. You don't justify why you're not texting. You don't seek approval for prioritizing yourself. You create space so she can choose to enter it. And if she doesn't, that tells you all you need to know. You can't force emotional investment. You create the conditions for it to grow, and it only grows in the space between you. Ask yourself, when was the last time you gave a woman the chance to miss you? Or did you flood every moment with access, thinking it would keep her around? If she doesn't get the chance to feel your absence, she'll never appreciate your presence. Period. Men who learn this stop chasing validation and start living. They become magnets, not messengers. They stop asking, how can I keep her? And start asking, how can I keep building? That's what flips everything. She doesn't need you always next to her. She needs to feel your strength when you're not. That's the kind of man who's unforgettable, because he's not trying to be remembered. He's too busy becoming, and when you finally become that force, grounded, unavailable, moving with silent power, she doesn't just notice you. She feels you, even when you're not there. That's why I put together the Stoic Relationship Blueprint, an unfiltered guide to help you live this truth every single day, without confusion, without chasing, without losing yourself again. If you've ever asked yourself, why do I always get left after giving everything? Or how do I get her to truly value me without pretending to be someone I'm not? This book answers it all. No games, just clear, tested principles you can use immediately. And once you get it, it's yours for life. Your blueprint, your reset button, your edge in every relationship. Click the link in the description and grab your copy today. Number 2. Chasing kills desire. You keep chasing her because you think effort equals affection, because somewhere deep down you've been told that if you just prove how much you care, she'll care back. But she doesn't. And the harder you try, the colder she becomes, and the more you give, the less you receive, and it eats at you because this is the opposite of everything you were taught. You were told to be kind, to show up, to make her feel special, but no one warned you that chasing love in the emotional realm is not like chasing success in business or achievement in school. That in relationships, especially modern ones, the more you chase, the more you repel, and you feel it, don't you? You feel it in the way she stops responding quickly, in the way her texts shrink, in the way she used to send hearts and now sends K, and you're left wondering, what changed? What changed is her perception of your value, because value that chases drops in price, and the more you place her on the pedestal, the more she looks down at you, not because she's evil, not because she's shallow, but because you showed her with every move that you're not the prize, you're the applicant, and the application is desperate, and that desperation leaks out of your messages, your offers, your plans, your tone, your questions, your softness, and the more you reach, the more you teach her that your time, energy, and attention are limitless. And if something's unlimited, it's not rare, and if it's not rare, it's not valuable, and if it's not valuable, it's forgettable. And that's what happens to you, not because you weren't enough, but because you gave too much without requiring anything back. And the truth is, chasing is what men do when they have no gravity, when they believe effort can replace impact. But women aren't drawn to action. They're drawn to energy, to frame, to presence, to strength. And if she doesn't feel that, your effort becomes background noise, and she tunes you out like the hundreds of other men doing the same thing. And this isn't just happening online. It's happening in real life, in workplaces, in cities, on college campuses, in quiet DMs that started with, "You're beautiful," and ended in silence. Because when a man starts with pursuit, he starts behind. And unless he reverses the frame, unless he makes her invest emotionally, he becomes a utility, not a challenge, a placeholder, not a priority. And you see it in the way she talks about the guy who barely texts back, who barely acknowledges her, who seems too busy to care, and yet she obsesses over him, posts quotes about him, waits on his call, defends him even though he treats her poorly, and you sit there wondering, why does she want that guy? It's because he never chased her. She chased him, and that chase made her value him, made her feel something, made her addicted to the roller coaster. And no matter how logical it seems to just be the nice guy who's always there, she doesn't feel desire for nice. She feels safety, and safety doesn't keep her up at night, doesn't make her check her phone, doesn't make her wonder if you're thinking about her. And you have to decide right now, do you want to be the guy she feels safe around while dreaming of someone else, or the guy who takes up space in her mind because she never quite feels she has you, because you've made it clear with your energy, not your words, that you are the chooser, not the chosen, that she has to earn your attention, not bathe in it endlessly. And to flip this today, you stop chasing, not in silence, not in ghosting, but in frame, in how you show up, in how you don't apologize for taking space, in how you don't need constant validation, in how you offer presence without pressure, strength without submission, calm without apology. And yes, she might test you, pull back, bait you into chasing again, But if you hold your frame, if you stop over-explaining, stop over-texting, stop over-giving, she starts to lean in, starts to notice the difference, starts to feel the tension again, and that's when you win. Not when she replies, but when you feel your own power return, because you finally stopped making her the destination and started treating yourself as the foundation, the beginning, the middle, the end, and everything else becomes optional, including her. And when a man moves like that, he becomes unforgettable, not because he tried, but because he didn't need to. Number 3. She respects emotional control. She doesn't respect the man who reacts to every word she says, who lets her moods dictate his energy, who becomes emotionally unstable the second things don't go his way, because deep down she's not looking for a man who mirrors her emotion. She's looking for one who anchors it. And yet you keep handing over your emotional state on a silver platter every time she ignores your message, changes plans last minute, flirts with attention online, and instead of holding your center, you spiral, you panic, you argue, you plead, and in doing so, you confirm to her that you are emotionally weaker than her, that your stability is conditional, and the moment you show her that your inner world is controlled by her outer actions, you lose her respect, because a woman doesn't want a man who's emotionally available at the cost of being emotionally fragile. She wants a man who can feel without losing frame, who can care without collapsing, who can love without becoming addicted. And most of you don't know what that even looks like because you've spent your whole life being told to open up, to express more, to be more vulnerable. But what they didn't tell you is that expressing emotion without strength is like giving a child a gun. You end up hurting yourself and the people around you, and she feels that chaos in you. She feels that lack of inner mastery, and no matter how kind you are, no matter how well you treat her, she cannot feel safe in your presence if she senses you don't own your reactions. And this is where men get caught. They think that being emotional means showing pain and seeking comfort. But she doesn't want to mother you emotionally. She wants to admire you emotionally. She wants to see that you can feel stress, disappointment, frustration, and still hold your ground, still speak with calm, still move with certainty, because the second she senses you're at the mercy of your feelings, she instinctively pulls away, and it's not always conscious. It's biological. She cannot give her full self to a man who she feels she needs to stabilize, and if you think about your past relationships, you'll see it. Every time you lost your cool, every time you sent paragraphs trying to explain your pain, every time you lashed out and apologized the next day, you dug yourself deeper because she wasn't rejecting your emotion. She was rejecting your lack of control over it. And if you want to flip that today, you must stop outsourcing your emotional state to her behavior. You must become a fortress, not cold, not numb, but contained, strong, secure in your own mind. And it starts in the smallest moments, when she tests you, says something passive-aggressive, flirts with detachment. You pause, you breathe, you observe, and you respond, not react. You speak with authority, not emotion. You don't raise your voice, you lower your intensity, and the contrast alone makes her listen, not because you intimidate, but because you carry weight. And when a man carries emotional weight, his words become few, and his presence becomes magnetic. And this doesn't mean you never show emotion. It means you master when and how you express it. You reveal vulnerability like a king revealing strategy, not a peasant begging for relief. And she senses the difference immediately, because that kind of energy is rare, because most men either hide their emotion completely or drown in it daily, and neither inspires trust. So start developing this by practicing silence when you feel the urge to react, write instead of rage, think instead of lash out, and most importantly, build a life that grounds you in purpose, because emotional control is not suppression. It's discipline, and discipline comes from direction. And if you have no mission, she becomes your mission, And when a woman becomes your mission, she becomes your master. And no woman wants to be with a man she can master. She wants a man she can follow, not because he demands it, but because his energy demands it. And when you become that man, you won't need to explain yourself, apologize for your feelings, or beg for her respect. You'll embody it. And respect that's felt doesn't need to be requested. It's given. Number 4. She values what she works for. She values what she works for, not what's thrown at her feet. And every time you give her your full self before she's earned even a piece of you, you destroy your own value in her eyes, because no one, man or woman, cherishes what they didn't have to work for. And this is the cold truth that modern men refuse to accept, because you've been taught to be generous without boundaries, to give your time, your attention, your vulnerability, your money, your protection, your love, all up front. And then you sit back shocked when she ghosts you, when she pulls away, when she starts to entertain other options, and you think to yourself, how could she do this after everything I gave? But what you don't realize is, she never asked for it, she never earned it, she never invested anything into the connection to create emotional ownership. And because of that, it didn't cost her anything to walk away, because she had nothing to lose. And deep down you feel that. You feel the imbalance. You feel how she was always on the receiving end while you were performing for her attention, and you justified it to yourself by saying you're just being a good guy. You're just showing her how serious you are. But in reality, you were trying to buy what can only be earned through emotional tension and earned value. And if she doesn't have skin in the game, she has no reason to stay, no reason to grow with you, no reason to respect you, and you can see this play out in every aspect of life. People protect what they invest in, whether it's a car, a business, or a relationship, but when you hand someone something they didn't ask for, they don't feel gratitude, they feel burden, and that's what happens when you pour your soul into a woman who hasn't even shown up for you yet. You give her the world, and she feels overwhelmed, not impressed. And you don't see the cracks forming because you're blinded by your desire to please her. And so you keep overextending, thinking more will eventually move her heart. But it doesn't, because value isn't built on quantity, it's built on quality. And quality in her mind is measured by effort, not ease, by pursuit, not presentation. And if you want her to truly desire you, to truly see you, to truly stay, you have to let her work for it. You have to let her feel the weight of your value by not giving it all away. And that starts with boundaries, with standards, with filtering who gets access to your world. And when you flip the script from overgiving to selective giving, you begin to watch her energy shift. Because now she's curious. Now she's wondering why you're not trying so hard, why you're not chasing like the rest, why you seem to value yourself enough to be earned. And that's when her investment begins. When she starts to put in effort, initiates texts, plans time, shows up consistently, and that effort is what builds her attachment, her loyalty, her depth, because she's now emotionally involved in the outcome, and you're no longer disposable in her mind because she's emotionally spent to be with you. And to get here, you must develop the discipline to not give just because you feel like it, to hold back your desire to impress, to let her lean in without immediately rewarding her with everything you are. And that's hard, especially when you've been conditioned to believe that love is about giving without limits. But that's not love. That's neediness in disguise, and neediness repels attraction faster than any flaw, because it tells her that you don't see your own value, that you believe you must prove it to be wanted, and that energy is the kiss of death. So today, you shift. Today you stop offering full access to someone who hasn't earned the key. You start filtering, observing, letting her show up and make effort, and only then do you reciprocate, not out of strategy, but out of self-worth. And the deeper truth here is this. When a woman works for your attention, she remembers you, she cherishes you, she defends you, she respects you, And even if she leaves, she'll never forget you, because she had to earn you, and that kind of man is never replaced, because he never gave himself away for free. Number 5. She craves a challenge. She craves a challenge because the challenge forces her to feel, and feeling is what creates attachment, what creates investment, what creates desire. And when a man is too available, too agreeable, too predictable, she may thank him, she may compliment him, but she will not crave him. And that's the difference between the man she settles for and the man she can't stop thinking about. Because when everything comes easy, there's no tension, and without tension, there's no story in her mind, no emotional roller coaster to hook her. And modern men don't understand this because they've been taught that being emotionally available, constantly validating, always prioritizing her, is the recipe for attraction. But they don't realize that this constant appeasement removes the very thing that keeps her interest alive. Mystery, uncertainty, the possibility of loss. And yes, it's controversial, but it's true. Women want emotional experiences that move them, not routines that comfort them. They want to feel like they're earning your interest. Like every piece of affection you give means something, not like it's handed out because you're afraid to lose them. And this is where most men kill attraction without realizing it. They remove all resistance, all friction, all unpredictability, and think it's love, but it's not. It's performance. And performance is end. And she feels it. She feels that there's no edge in you, no principle you're willing to stand on, no boundary you're willing to enforce, and she starts to test you, not always consciously, but emotionally, to see if you'll bend, and you always do. And every time you bend, every time you back down to make her more comfortable, you become less attractive in her eyes, not because you're not enough, but because you're too easy, too accessible, too obvious, and that doesn't make her feel anything. And if she doesn't feel, she detaches, slowly, quietly, until one day she says she needs space, or that it's not you, it's her, or that she needs to find herself. But what she really means is, she doesn't feel challenged anymore. She knows exactly how you'll respond, exactly how you'll react, exactly what to expect. And that emotional script gets boring fast. And the tragedy is that you did everything with good intention. You tried to be the perfect man, the most available, the most supportive, the most understanding. But in doing so, you became the safest bet, not the most desirable option. And the worst part is, you saw her get excited over men who didn't do half as much, men who were distant, inconsistent, sometimes even disrespectful, and it destroyed your sense of logic. You thought, why would she want him? And the reason is simple, because he didn't give her everything without requiring something back, because he made her feel uncertain, and in that uncertainty she felt alive. She felt emotional risk, and emotional risk is what builds emotional reward. And if you want to flip this, you have to stop being so afraid of tension. You have to embrace discomfort. You have to be willing to hold space when she pushes, to not chase when she pulls away, to not fold when she pressures you, because every time you resist the urge to appease, you give her something to feel, something to wrestle with, something to respect. And that doesn't mean being cruel or manipulative. It means being rooted in your own standards, your own values, your own timing. It means showing her that you're not afraid to walk away if your needs aren't met. Not because you're playing games, but because you respect yourself too much to be someone's emotional punching bag. And when you live like that, she has no choice but to meet you at your level or walk. And either way, you win, because now you're living in truth, not performance, and that truth becomes your filter. And the women who stay, stay, because they value you, because they worked for you, because they had to level up emotionally to meet you, and that creates the tension, the desire, the long-term fire that most men will never experience because they're too busy trying to avoid rejection. And you must ask yourself now, do you want to be liked by everyone or desired by the right one? Do you want to be easy to love, but impossible to lose, or easy to get and easy to forget? She craves a challenge because challenge commands respect. And when a woman respects you, she follows, she submits, she invests, not because you forced her, but because you became a man whose energy demands effort. And when you become that man, she doesn't just want you, she fears losing you, and that fear creates the hunger, the chase, the kind of connection that lasts, not because you chased her, but because you made her rise. Number 6. She's drawn to a man who chases his purpose. She's not drawn to the man who revolves his world around her. She's drawn to the man whose world moves with such force and direction that she either keeps up or gets left behind. And this is what most men miss. They think making her the center of everything will prove loyalty, prove value, prove worthiness. But the opposite happens, because when she becomes your purpose, she becomes your ceiling, and no woman wants to carry the weight of being your reason for existing. She might smile at the compliments, accept the gifts, acknowledge the attention, but deep inside she feels suffocated, burdened, like she's with a man who has no compass of his own, no gravity, no flame that burns without her, and she slowly begins to detach, not because she's evil or ungrateful, but because she's hardwired to respect direction, to admire strength, to respond to vision. And the man without purpose loses all three, because when you orbit her, she feels your emotional dependence, and dependence kills desire. It replaces mystery with monotony. It replaces presence with pressure. And the more you try to make her feel needed, the more she feels the pressure to be your everything, and it drains her. You think you're being romantic, devoted, a ride or die, but she sees you sacrificing your path, your ambition, your essence, and the silent question that echoes in her mind is this: if he gave it all up for me, what does he even stand for? Because deep down she knows a man who gives up his mission will give up anything, and a man who gives up anything is not safe, not stable, not strong. And strength is not just muscles or income or status. It's spiritual conviction. It's the refusal to fold under desire, and most men have none of it. They drop their goals when they meet a pretty face. They skip the gym, cancel meetings, delay dreams just to spend more time with her, and she might accept it at first, even enjoy it. But over time, she loses respect, because you stop becoming the man she was originally attracted to. The one who had things going on, who had fire in his eyes, who had somewhere to be, something to chase, a future to build, and instead you become available, waiting, stuck in emotional limbo, treating her presence as the reward, when in reality the reward should be becoming who you were meant to be, and she should be drawn to that journey, not placed as the destination. And if you want to flip this now, if you're tired of feeling like you're never enough, like no matter how much love or energy you give, it still doesn't land, it starts with reclaiming your purpose, with stepping back and asking, what was I building before I met her? What fire was I chasing before I paused for romance? Where was I going before I started orbiting her? And you have to go back to that path, not for revenge, not to manipulate, not to provoke, but to restore your soul, because when you're on mission, everything changes, your posture changes, your focus sharpens, your time becomes scarce, and women feel it. They feel the weight of your absence, the energy of your presence, the intensity of your progress, and they either rise to match it or move aside to make room. And that's what you want. Not a woman who clings, but a woman who contributes. Not a woman who distracts, but a woman who aligns. And that only happens when you put purpose above pleasure, above attention, above ego, and start living like your time matters, like your future isn't negotiable. And that doesn't mean you reject love. It means you stop chasing it. You stop giving away your identity in exchange for intimacy. And when you live like that, when you choose your purpose over comfort, you stop attracting women who want to be worshipped and start attracting women who want to witness. who want to watch a man become everything he said he would and contribute to it, not control it. And that's how you win, not by being the best boyfriend, but by being the most disciplined version of yourself, the one who wakes up with clarity, works with intention, and moves with vision. And when she sees that, when she sees you locked into something greater than her, it pulls her in deeper than any words ever could, because now you're not just a man, now you're a force, and forces don't chase, they attract. You've spent years giving too much, apologizing for your standards, over-explaining your worth, and where has it gotten you? Ignored, ghosted, replaced. But it ends today. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint is not just an e-book. It's the manual every man needed before he gave himself away for free. It's linked in the comments, and once you own it, it's yours forever. No subscriptions, no games. Just raw, unapologetic truth that will save you years of regret and rebuild your sense of power in ways no one ever taught you. If you're ready to stop being the man who gives everything and gets nothing, comment, "I choose power over approval," right now. Like this video, subscribe, and help more men find these truths before they waste another year chasing women who never valued them to begin with.